This, ladies and gentlemen, is our long-term BMW iX, and we have been driving it in and around the city, and it has given us excellent range and very little to complain about. But today I've taken it out for a kind of a long journey up till Uttarkashi from Delhi, and I believe this, with the great range that it offers and the good charging infrastructure we have, I don't think I'll have any problems driving an EV around.
Well, I beg to differ, because as good as EVs are on a daily basis, they're not meant for long road trips. That's why I'll be keeping tabs on Aakash with this, the BMW X7. Now, it is an equivalent of the iX in terms of pricing. They come from the same brand, and this is an overall better SUV. So I'll be shadowing him throughout the road trip, and I'll show it to you on each occasion that an ICE-powered SUV is a better bet than an EV.
Uttarkashi is a little over 400 kilometers away from Delhi, but since we started the journey in the second half of the day, we decided to take a night halt in the town of Tehri, which is around 270 kilometers from Delhi. The road trip would see us cruise on expressways, navigate through the hustle and bustle of small towns before finally driving up the stunning mountain roads. Now, since this was an ICE versus EV challenge, we devised a simple plan to pick the winner. Whoever gets the reserve warning first would lose. As simple as that. Now, while this was going to be a straightforward affair in the X7, for the battery-powered iX, we decided to keep it at 10% SOC, since that's typically the reserve fuel capacity for conventional vehicles. With the rules in place, I topped up the iX to 100% and Shivank's X7 guzzled down a full tank of gasoline. And off we went.
Okay, so now we have done close to 115 kilometers. We are nearly midway, and I think it's time now to get an update from our man Aakash.
Hello!
Hello, Mr. Aakash. What's happening?
Nothing, just driving behind you.
So you are at what, 50% range now?
Of course not, I have way more than 50%. I'm at 80.
You're at 80. But what's the range that it's showing on the dash?
It's 443.
And you started at
Which
what?
is plenty, by the way.
You started at 520, right?
520. Yep.
At 100% it was 5. So we have covered 117 kilometers. That's what it's showing on my dash. I'm guessing you have also...
Same.
Right?
Yep.
So technically you've lost just 80 kilometers of range.
What's your range like?
Okay, so right now I am at 654 kilometers. When we started it was
and what?
780.
Okay, 654. Oh, so you've lost a lot more than I have.
Well, Aakash was right. I had lost considerably more range as compared to his iX. But that was expected, because the X7 I was driving is powered by BMW's legendary B58 3-litre 6-cylinder turbo-petrol motor, which offers sports car-like performance. Although that comes at the expense of fuel efficiency, and I found this out the hard way. Not to mention, the stop-go nature of the western UP highways meant frequent downshifts and aggressive throttle inputs, which affected my range adversely.
While Shivank was fretting over his dropping range, my iX had a neat trick up its sleeve.
I have kept the regen mode to adaptive, which means that the car will intelligently detect what kind of situation I am driving in and then accordingly adjust the level of regen. And I've seen that at play at various points. Yes, it's a little hard to guess as to when the car will let you just coast and when it'll apply the brakes a little bit too hard, but for the most part I have been basically driving with just one pedal, which is
quite easy. It's even easier than two-pedal driving. Apart from that neck snapping acceleration, the joy of driving an electric vehicle is that it's super silent, it's super smooth, no vibrations or anything of that sort. So that is one area where I think EVs do a very good job, even on highways, of providing a very nice and comfortable drive, one that suits the 1.5 crore price tag of this vehicle. We continued towards our destination and kept a close watch at the rate of drop in the range of our respective SUVs. After covering 200 kilometers since the start of the journey, we were finally at Rishikesh. From here on, we would only be driving on serpentine mountain roads of Uttarakhand. Considering we were going uphill, my iX range was expected to take a hit, although that did not stop me from enjoying the drive. So I've kicked the iX into the sport mode, as you can tell by all the red lighting, and it's time to go ballistic on these corners. Oh my god, the amount of grip you get from this vehicle, even though it's so heavy, but you get tremendous amount of feedback from the steering wheel to make you do corners with great amount of confidence. Yes, the brakes, they do kind of hold you back a little bit, but the rest of the package is absolutely amazing. It is an electric BMW, and the emphasis is definitely on the BMW because it drives like any other BMW that you would love.
Back in the X7, I was having even more fun driving it in the hills, so much so that I forgot to turn the lights on for my piece to camera.
Oh, it just darts in. I bet the iX, it can't match this level of agility. Oh, it's just so manageable, this thing. And you can feel that it's rotating from the back, so it has that typical BMW trait, even though it's miles high off the ground, but still, that essence is not lost.
Meanwhile, all this initial D-esque fun had resulted in a spot of bother for me and the iX. Well, looks like I won't be able to enjoy the BMW-ness of this BMW for very long because my range is dropping at an alarming rate. Even though I still have 53% charge, but I have pretty quickly come down to a range of 204 kilometers, which it's enough to get me to our spot today, but I would not want to bring it down too much. So I think I'll just go back to the modes and set it back to, where is it? Come on. Yep, there it is, efficient. And just get some range. I think I'll just slow down a little bit. Well, it did not take long before the inevitable happened. I think that is Shivank. Oh no. Oh boy. It's the man with the 7-seater elephant. And he knows I have to go slow, and now he's going to bully me. I might be able to keep him behind for a little while. I don't know how long I'll be able to keep this up though. I'm not sure. Save me, curves. Save me, curves.
Aakash, drive fast.
Oh no, there he goes. Damn it. That is definitely going to take some points off my ego.
Okay, so now that we have Aakash behind us, well, I have to say that I'm absolutely enjoying driving the X7. You know, I was not expecting it to be this good. I'm in sport mode, and the way it turns, the way it brakes, wow. The way it rides also, even in sport mode, it's quite absorbent. Well, you wouldn't guess that this is a 1.5 CR luxury SUV. You know, I would never understand how BMW does this.
After a little battle through the mountains, we finally reached our destination for the night.
So, Mr. Aakash, how was it?
I had fun. How about you?
You had fun? I don't think you had fun.
I had fun.
No, you're driving very conservatively.
I
How much range do you have right now?
Right now about 190.
190.
Yeah. See, that's better. So when I was in the mountains pushing, it dropped down to 160 and then I drove for about 20 odd kilometers conservatively and I still have 190-ish left.
So when you started, it was 520.
Yes.
How much distance have we covered? Can you check the trip meter? How much distance have we covered?
It says right here we have done 272.7 kilometers.
So again, same distance. My range is 298 kilometers. So if you do the calculations, I have lost nearly 400 kilometers of range. Nearly. And you've lost?
About 350 roughly.
Yeah, so that's more or less the same, considering that I was driving faster than you. I was also thrashing it. So right now he has 40%.
Yes, it's 39.
39%, okay, cool.
We were 40 when I reached the gate, but
Yeah,
seems
but
to have
it's
dropped to
tonight.
39.
So Aakash, what do you think about the weather? Are you liking it? You think it's cold?
Nice and chilly. It's fine.
It's fine, all right. But you know what?
What?
Your car is not going to love it because the temperature right now, it's 10 and the lowest is 6 degrees. You're going to lose a lot more range by the time you wake up tomorrow morning.
I don't think so.
Yes, you would. Because batteries, generally, they lose close to 5 to 10% of the total charge. So, let's see what happens, because tomorrow we hit a hilly section of road, more picturesque roads, and I hope he thrashes it. And then we'll come to know the exact difference. Tomorrow is the day, tomorrow is the D-Day, tomorrow is when we find out.
Good morning, Shivank.
Well, good morning.
You seem to be enjoying the view.
Yes, absolutely. Have you been to Tehri before?
No, this is actually my first time.
Oh, he doesn't know. So Tehri is basically our go-to place when we want to come out for shoots, because amazing roads, amazing scenery as well.
Yeah.
So do you know the history of this town or Tehri Lake?
Nope.
Okay, so it's technically the tallest dam in the country. I think it's 260 or 261 meters.
Wow.
Right, so it's the tallest. And of course, it produces a lot of electricity, which is good for your IX, right?
Yeah, it is
But
definitely.
the fun part is, this lake you see,
Huh.
there's a whole town underneath. So yes, I think it's quite spooky. So I think I remember when I came here first time, I could see the clock tower from this town.
Are you serious?
Yes, so there is a whole town underneath, which was Tehri town. And to build this dam, I think around 24 villages were submerged. So yeah, that's the history of this town. Right now, of course, it's a tourist destination. So every time I come here, you get this spooky feeling.
Any idea how deep it is? Because it seems quite
So it depends. Right now, the water level is quite low.
Okay.
But last time out when we came here, it was quite high. It was right here till the gate of this hotel.
deep. Oh,
So yeah, but it's a nice, amazing place.
yeah.
And great driving roads as well.
And
Now-
speaking about driving,
Yes.
now you were quite confident last night that my EV would lose a lot of charge. So do you want to find out if that has been the case or is it not?
Yes, let's do that quickly. Because I think it should have lost, because it was quite cold in the night. Like I
It
said,
was
it was
cold, definitely.
6
but
degrees.
Let me open the car and let's see what it is like. 38%. That is just a drop
But what's
of
the range on the car?
It's 173, hasn't gone down much.
Okay, so it's just 1%, which is okay. Let's check my car.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see.
Let's see what's the range left on that. I think it should have gone up. Yesterday it was 298, right?
Yep.
So right now it's 293.
Yeah, so
yeah.
about similar-ish drop, because I think that's because the cars are
Yeah,
stationary
but this
right now.
won't
So
be affected by the weather or the temperature.
Yeah, so mine also just lost 1%, which is hardly anything.
So you right now have a range of 170-ish kilometers, right?
Yes, which I'm pretty sure would increase the moment we start rolling.
Right now what we are going to do is that we are going to head towards Uttarkashi. That is at quite a distance. That is around 100 kilometers from here. And I don't think you'll make it there.
Okay, that's a challenge I'm happy to accept.
Again, the problem is you have to make sure that when you have just 10% of range left, you should make it to a charging station. Now that's where the problem with an EV comes, because right now the charger, you have one charger in this town,
Okay.
and you have the other charger, fast charger, in Uttarkashi. So Uttarkashi is around 100, 110 kilometers from here. So in case after 50 kilometers you'll lose your remaining 30% or 25%, you'll have nowhere to go.
Yeah, that is a concern, but like I said, I'm pretty confident I'll make it there.
Yeah, you have
No
taken up
worries at
this.
all.
You have taken up this challenge,
Eh?
and I'm sure you'll lose it before
Nah.
me. But of course, whoever hits, if you hit 10% before me, and if I hit reserve before him, that's the person who loses, right?
Let's see who loses.
Let's get going.
I know it'll be him.
Hello.
Hello, Aakash.
Yo, what's up?
Do you see this field? Both of our SUVs are X-Drive, but I'm sure they're not the same, because the X7 has a better or more sophisticated four-wheel drive system. But your SUV,
I would beg to differ.
so let's see which feels more BMW. Let's have a bit of fun. We've got an open bit of like a whole field to ourselves.
I have a whole lot more torque than you, so be prepared to, be a little bit embarrassed.
Okay, so first things first, I have to put the traction control off, right? And sport mode, because we need a lot of power. And we go give it the beans.
Okay, he's going properly sideways. See, you can see the X7 struggling a little bit, but then it just goes into a great slide. Okay then, it's time for me to try my hand at the slide business. First, I'll need to change the drive mode down to sport. Then, if I go into the settings, I'll have to go into drive dynamics to change the traction control to be off so that I can slide. And let's see how it goes.
What a painful sight. I can just feel it has so much going on. The electronics are trying to cut off the power. It's all electric, it's on off.
So how was that, my friend?
I don't think it's impressive.
But I was sliding.
Not really. But you know what? Let's leave it to the ladies and gentlemen. They'll tell us at the end of it who did it better. But I think I've won again.
Nah, I think my car did it better.
After giving you, the viewer, the power to decide the winner of the sliding contest, we decided to continue and complete the final leg of our journey. And that sparked some interesting thoughts.
On paper, the BMW iX is not a great vehicle. I mean, it's the antithesis of everything that a conventional car enthusiast likes. First of all, it is an EV. Ew. It's an SUV. It's a quite heavy SUV at that, more than 2.5 tons. And it's even made of
all the nice environment friendly materials, and it's good for the nature in every kind of way. But still, what BMW has done is that even after taking all these seemingly wrong ingredients, they've made a vehicle which is very much a BMW. It drives fast, it drives with engagement. Yes, so many EVs can do 0 to 100 in the blink of an eye and all of those superlatives. But it's also about how they control, how they handle, how they make you feel. And that is the reason why I picked the iX for this road trip.
So right now we are headed towards Uttarkashi and the road surface is more or less the same as last night. Of course, I can feel it because it's still so grippy. It's winding set of roads and I'm enjoying the X7 again. Like I said yesterday, this is one of the best. Like even the way it moves, even the way it changes direction, the body control, it's just phenomenal. I'm not going very fast, but the control is still mind-blowing. Can you hear that? It just shrinks around you, this SUV. That's not the case with the iX for sure. You know, if you're in the right gear, it shoots out of corners like an EV only. There is just no lag, nothing. Oh, Aakash is calling. Well, think of the devil and he's there. Hello, Mr. Aakash.
Hello Shivank, how's it going?
Well, I'm having fun as always, as opposed to you, for sure.
Yeah, you might have got me there. What's your range like right now?
I still have 200 kilometers to go, but I've got just 2 bars. So that means once it hits 1 bar, I'll be in reserve. So I think I can go another 50 kilometers for sure.
Yikes. Well, status update on my side. I have 24% charge and it's showing me a range of 91. Now that I know is enough to get us to our destination, so I'm not bothered about that. But yeah, looks like I might be hitting.
You are bothered about losing the race because when you hit 10%, that's when you lose. You get it?
Yes, that is true.
Now I still have 12 kilometers. Our destination is 40 kilometers away. But the thing is, I've only got 2 bars left. Even though I'm confident that I'm going to win this, I still have doubts. I think I shouldn't get carried away because maybe Aakash is driving conservatively. I can't see him in my rear view mirror or anywhere closer, right? So I have to be really conservative now in the interest of winning this race.
Okay, guys, looks like I have hit 10% of charge, and even though I have plenty of range to reach the hotel and the charger, the rules were to hit 10% or the reserve. So I'll have to make that dreaded call now because Shivank hasn't called me, so that means he's not hit reserve yet. And well, this is not good news for me and the iX, but the rules are the rules, so I'll make the call.
I think I've got the call that I was waiting for. Yes, please give me the good news.
Well, I have hit 10%, Shivank. And I'm guessing you still haven't hit your reserve?
No, I haven't.
Okay, I guess that means you win.
So you stop wherever you are. I'll just come back. Oh, well, there he is, ready to take the L. Aakash.
Yep.
What a shock, no? You lost. An EV lost over a
Yeah.
petrol-powered SUV. Congrats, by the way. Congrats to me, actually.
Yeah, congrats and whatever.
It was always a losing battle, you know that?
Yes, but हार के जीतने वाले को ही बाजीगर कहते हैं. And I have saved
Very
the
cheesy.
environment by being eco-friendly, and I still am going to reach the hotel, so it's not a total loss.
I mean, yeah, surprised, but let's see, because our destination is still 40 odd kilometers away,
Yeah.
right? So we have to get driving again, and because he has to reach back to Delhi as well, and he'll again have to charge, he'll again have to manage things, whereas I can just pop into any fuel station, get going. I'll enjoy the scenery, I'll drive as fast as I can, as opposed to him. But still, it was a good challenge, but we'll discuss all the nitty-gritties once he put this car on charge, because right now even I'm having range anxiety because this guy is my liability, right? We are on a road trip together. So first of all, we have to find the charger there. Let's hope
chill.
it's working.
Chill,
If
I
it's
know.
not working, then it
We'll go
was
in the
your
X7,
decision.
we'll make use of all the seats in the
It
X7.
was his decision. Just remember that, right? It's on record now. See you,
See
bro.
you at the hotel.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning, Aakash. I guess you had a long night.
A little bit, yeah, I had to find a charger to juice up the vehicle.
So now that we know that I have won this comparison, or I've won this road trip
Just by
feature,
a little
whatever it is, let's compare notes, because we have some very interesting insights to share.
Absolutely. And I think you won't like what I have to say. So, here's the thing. I used a public charger to charge the vehicle completely, and they tend to have a higher cost for charging compared to home charging. So, with that, I had a per kilowatt hour price of 21 rupees,
Okay.
which means that if you combine the range, so when I reached 10%, I had done about 363-64 kilometers, and I still had an indicated range of 50, which, as we've seen, that it's a little bit of a lower number, and then the car usually goes more than that. So I easily did about 420, 430. Let's take the lower number, 420. And then my per kilometer cost of running the iX was just 5 rupees on public charging.
Okay. And what if you charge it at home?
So in Delhi, we have, about a variable rate for electricity depending on the units. But let's say across the country, we have 6 to 8 rupees per unit. So if I take 6 rupees as my unit cost, then it would cost me just 1.4 rupees per kilometer to drive a luxury SUV, a high-end luxury SUV in variable conditions.
Okay, so this is a losing battle for me, because you know how much fuel I was consuming. I won't
Please,
say
I would love
consuming.
to hear.
I was saying it was gulping.
Yeah?
So the X7, the indicated fuel efficiency on the dash was 15 liters per 100 kilometers. So that's the average that we've calculated over this trip.
Okay.
So that translates to about 6.6 kilometers to a liter. Now, considering petrol prices are close to 95 or 100, so that's a per kilometer running cost of 14 to 15 rupees. So that's,
Wow, that's
Nearly-
3 times of my higher cost.
yeah, and that's nearly 10 times of what you do.
With, like, home charging.
Of course, in this case, I have to go with I'll advocate on the EV's behalf, because the problem is, even if you have a bottomless pit of money, that will hurt, because I have spent, I think I'm going to spend over 10, 12,000 in just fuel costs, but he has spent what, 2 or 3,000 rupees maximum,
At-
or maybe 4,000.
So with home charging, I can basically juice up the entire car for about 600 to 800 rupees,
Yes.
essentially.
Yeah, yeah.
And again, I want to make this like a bullet point that this is not a budget vehicle.
Yeah.
This is a 1.5 crore luxury SUV with all the features, all the bells and whistles, and your running cost is lower than a petrol entry-level hatchback.
And I think the only problem is the charger, because I think you
Yeah.
could do a 400 kilometers road trip in just one charge, right? That's the beauty.
And that
of-
was us, again, I've mentioned this before, but we weren't exactly going at a very slow and Sunday drive kind of pace.
Yeah.
We were going decently fast.
So that's it. So if you have the chargers sorted at your place, let's say the door-to-door sort of situation, where you have your charger at your home, you've started from your home, fully charged, and then you reach the destination and you have a charger, which was the case with us. But now moving on, let's leave the EV versus petrol debate, and now let's compare the vehicles.
Yeah.
Now, this is where I think I'll have an edge over him, because first of all, I think they call the iX an SUV. Do you think it's an SUV in the true sense compared to the X7?
Okay, yes, I will admit that the X7 can take a bit more of beating than the iX. Not that the iX is going to be limited. We've had no trouble, mostly,
Yes.
in getting the iX still here. I did not have to watch my ground clearance too much or anything like that. So that way, the iX is actually pretty capable.
There's one thing that he's not telling you, and I'll tell you that. So he had a puncture, and that's because it's running on massive 22-inch wheels, and it's shod with Pirelli P0 tires. Now that is an SUV. I get it that it needs more grip or whatever. But you check the X7's wheels, it has, again, X7 also has 21-inch wheels.
Yes.
But the profile is much taller. So in that sense, it's more roadworthy, I'd say, compared to the iX, especially when you're going to uncharted territories, because yesterday, when he had a puncture, there was a rough sort of trail. That's when his air started to leak out almost immediately. And that's because the tire is so soft. So that's, again, one of the problems. You have to be a little more careful with the iX when you're road tripping. So that's another of an BMW iX problem compared to the X7.
But to counter that, I would say that despite all of that, those 22-inch wheels, they look pretty epic, and they had a lot of eyeballs falling on them. And on top of that, yes, you're questioning the credibility of the iX as an SUV, but because it's not as tall as the X7, there is less vertical movement, which is great on twisties.
But there is also a lot of weight, and like I said, it's like an elephant flying. Even the X7 is like an elephant flying, but the X7 is a smaller elephant. That's what I'd say.
Yeah.
But overall, I think if we have to wrap this up, I think we had a lot of fun, but also a lot of insights, because ultimately when you compare both these SUVs, the X7 is, of course, the SUV to go for if you want a completely trouble-free sort of journey. And you don't want to stress yourself out, because Aakash, when he was at 10%, he is stressed out for the charger. And that's something that will probably get better with time.
Yeah.
But as of today, I think if you have 1.5 CR, the iX is a great option. But if you don't want to stress yourself out, if you want to have a completely trouble-free journey, I think for road tripping, it's still the ICE-powered vehicle that makes more sense.
Yeah.